that's going to compromise the safety, so then it'll be useless. So let's go. Ah, it's heavy. My kids are always forgetting their house keys. Use your key! Where's your key? And sometimes when they forget their house keys, when I forget my house keys, then we're all locked out. And this has happened a few times recently, and I need to do something about it. 1 month ago, I released this video where I put up this key safe. It's the master lock key safe on my dad's flat, and it's worked brilliantly, but I've had 1 or 2 comments like this explaining to me quite how bad the master safe key safe is. And you can see lots of videos on YouTube. It's really easy to break into and really easy to guess the combination. But beautiful audience, you recommended me another key safe, and it's this. It's the Supra C500 Pro key safe. And you really recommend this. This video is unboxing and installation and first impressions review all in one. Can I get this key safe? It's really heavy, by the way. Can I get this key safe onto our wall without ripping off the wall and without being able to rip off the key safe? I'll be doing this step by step. I'm not an expert at all, as you will see in the following minutes. But maybe if you're thinking of getting a key safe, maybe this one is the one for you. There's a link down in the description if you want to have a go at one of these yourself. This is how the Supra C500 Pro key safe arrives. Like I say, it really feels heavy. I'll put the weight on the screen now, but the packaging's really nice. What makes this better than the Master Lock key safe is its solid metal construction, its certified resistance to attack, easy push button access, and over 4,000 codes. It can store 5 or more keys. There's a weather cover included and a fitting kit included. Whoa, this is what comes inside the box. It is so heavy. I need 2 hands to hold this. This is the weather resistant cover. There's a big button here that says open, and these are all the numbers for the combinations, so from 1 to 0 plus an A and a B. So if I click to open, see what happens. Okay, so there are fittings in here. What's really nice about this, I can see already, better than the Master Lock key safe, is that there's a hook to hang the key on. Whoa, look at those screws. Those are really meaty screws. I'm gonna have to drill a massive hole for that. Nice huge illustrations instead of a load of tiny text. And there's a mounting template on the other side so I can hold this up against the wall. On the front side of the key safe, just behind it, there is this code change tool, and it clips onto here. So if I slide that down, I'll be able to get this out. And you use this to change the numbers. Now it's got in red writing, it's important that the open knob must be in the locked position before the code can be changed. Let's put that into the locked position, like that. Maybe I could take this clear tab off now. And here are the code setting instructions. Turn the open dial on the front of the key safe to the locked position. Confirm that the green triangle is visible on the locking bolt. Well, I've got that there. I'll just double check, because I'm doing this for the first time. That is definitely in the locked position. So I'll take this sticker off. I suppose you need to keep the sticker there to remind you in a few years' time if you need to change it. And here are all the numbers and the 2 letters, A and B. And when it's pointing upwards, that's on, and pointing downwards, that's off. And they're all pointing downwards at the moment. Now, what I wasn't sure is, what if I wanted to do 2864? Do I have to do it in that order? Let's try it. 2, so you turn it, turn it, turn it, and the arrow's popped up there. I'll do 4 next. Doesn't say whether to rotate it clockwise or anti-clockwise, but that doesn't seem to matter. 6, I'll go anti-clockwise. Oh, you can't. Oh, you can. That arrow's pointing up. Can you see that? And it's also clicked as well. And then finally we'll put in 8. Now it says test combination before closing lid. So that's locked. Ooh. So if I type in 2, 8, 6, 4, it opens. So it doesn't matter what the combination is, it's just 4 digits. or 5 digits, or 8 digits. It's locked now. If I hit clear and then put in 2, 4, 6, 8, that opens. And you can see the green bolt has disappeared. So that looks really easy to set. I'm not sure you can see this on camera, but the letters and numbers are embossed. What's the reverse of embossed? They stand proud. It feels really solid, like a solid lump of metal. Let me make some noise. This is where I think we want the box to go. So this is how the bolts work. They obviously go from the other side when you open the key safe. I thought I needed to have wall plugs or rule plugs or wall anchors to hold these. Let me give you a close-up of how they look. They're pretty beefy, but the instructions are quite clear. They say these go straight into the brick. The next problem I have is that you need a drill bit long enough for the bolts supplied. Not only just long enough, but to allow another 7mm the other side. What they recommend is a 5mm drill bit. The length of that needs to be as long as, if not longer than, the bolts, and these are pretty standard drill bits. I think the key safe is going to look best here. So I'm going to get my marker pen. I'm not going to be too careful about putting it up straight because it can't be seen, but I do want it to be fairly straight. So I've got spirit level, so I think about there looks good. And I'm going to mark the 4 holes. It's so heavy. The key safe is so heavy. Let's try and get those in. Now this is why you've got the paper template, so you don't have to hold the whole key safe. Now it's the scary bit, because this is where we have to commit to the holes that I've marked. So here goes nothing. But these bricks, they're about 100 years old. I don't know what they made the bricks of, but they're like concrete. So I've put the drill onto hammer action to just get through these bricks, because they are so tough. I'm having to put my full weight behind the drill to push the drill bit all the way through the brick, and I'm also trying to hold the drill as straight as possible, as level as possible, and which is difficult when you're working in a corner. But I'm just going to pull out as much brick dust as possible and see if I can get these 4 holes completely lined up with the 4 holes on the back of the Supra C500 Pro key safe. Because I've drilled those pilot holes, it means it's much easier to get my 5mm drill bits through these concrete-like bricks. Honestly, these are so tough, and I have to make sure that this hole is big enough for the bolts that come with the Supra key safe. I don't want the bolts to stick halfway, so I'm just hoping that this 5mm drill bit is enough. I've just got to trust the instructions, but it would be really tough work to do this without the pilot holes, so I'm kind of glad I did that. So the holes are drilled. There's no turning back now. I don't know how this is going to turn out, but I've got the bolts, and we're going to use these screws to bolt the Supra key lock onto the wall. It's too late now if the holes don't match. It says quite clearly in the instructions, do not use an electric screwdriver for this. I've got it on standby. I really want to, but I don't want to mess this up. I don't want it to get stuck halfway, because that would be bad. And also, if I can't get it all the way in and flush with the wall, that's going to compromise the safety, so then it'll be useless. So let's go. It's heavy. So I'm going to line the screws up with the holes. Just turn them by hand. Ooh. Turn them by hand. Wow, it is really hard to get this into the brick. Without wall anchors or rule plugs or wall plugs, this is going to be really hard to turn into the brick. The way I'm doing this is to get 2 bolts in at the top, just loosely, just to start holding the Supra key safe to the wall. And it's hard going, but I can completely understand why Supra advised not using an electric screwdriver. If you have some kind of power tool on this, I think it might just strip the threads of the screws if they go too quickly. So doing it by hand is hard, but I can really feel the screws biting into the plain brick with no wall plugs. I'm using my really cheap old ratchet screwdriver that doesn't ratchet anymore by the looks of it. So I've just got it into a lock position, and I'm now manually turning these screws one by one. I can then get all 4 screws into play, and I'm just bringing them all back one by one, just so I know that between the 4 of them, they will pin the key safe to the wall. I don't want to go too far with one screw and then find that the other 2 or 3 don't go in because it's the wrong angle or something. So I'm just working each of the 4 screws in turn to give it equal turn to push this key safe snug against the wall. It's hard work. Hey, I'll tell you something else I did. I used WD-40. I don't know if this is any help. These screws seem to be going in much easier with some WD-40, which will hopefully drive out any moisture over time. But more importantly, I'm hoping that it helps me to turn these screws more easily. Great. All 4 screws will not tighten any further. I think that's it. There's no gap behind the key safe. I'm really pleased with this. Let's give it a try. So it's now locked. Let me bring you closer. I can now type in the number 2, 4, 6, 8. I can't see the numbers on this side. You might want to bear that in mind. And it opens. There we go. It's completely rock solid, bolted to the wall. I'm so pleased with that. There's no gap. It is flush. That is absolutely fantastic. Now close it again and just lock it this way. Try it one more time. Oh, clear. And you can do the numbers in any order. And it opens. I absolutely love the clear instructions, and that the clear instructions are actually printed inside the key card where you set the code. Absolutely brilliant. The other thing I absolutely love is that it comes with the screws, and I love this hook. This hook is crucial. The master lock did not have that, and I think that is a really nice touch. And I also love that you could have a really complicated code if you wanted. Hey, guess what I've done? Have you got your key?
Absolutely nothing.
Have you got your key?
No, I haven't.
Well, get in here. Go type it in here. See if it works. There, it works. I don't have to answer the door anymore. I am calling this Supra C500 Pro key safe a Dad delivers success. More importantly, me not having to answer the door anymore. Another Dad delivers success. Thank you for coming along the ride for this journey. I hope you find a key safe that works for you. There are links to this one and the Master Lock key safe down in the description. Thank you for hitting the thumbs up if you've reached this point of the video, or the subscribe button. It really helps us to keep this channel going, so thank you. And right here is what YouTube knows you want to be watching next.